Hey, it's Corey from Fuel Your Photos, and I just want to take a few minutes to talk about the recent Yoast bug. And this is an issue that at first I didn't really think was going to be a big deal until I started to see it having an effect on some of the sites that I manage. So I definitely want to take some time to figure out what to do about this, to show you exactly what steps you can take and whether you need to take them. For photographers, this is actually a really big problem because of the amount of images on most photographer sites, and this is a bug that's centered around images, and the main problem is going to come if you had it the right way previous to updating to Yoast and you updated within a certain window. You could have some major problems with your site. I actually have one of my sites that falls in this category. I'm going to show you in this video. Okay, so let's go ahead and dig in. If you go to yoast.com/media-attachment-URLs, this is the official post. You might see one going around from Search Engine Journal. It's basically just a rehash of this exact same post. So go to the original source, the Yoast article here, to learn about what's going on. And essentially they're telling you, hey, we had a bug, we had a problem where some of you had a setting where you were asking us not to index image attachment pages. You were redirecting them to the image itself or to the parent page. In fact, in the previous versions, you had a couple of options with how you did this. With version 7, they kind of consolidated the options. And because of this consolidation and changing how things went, there was a bug where if you previously had it set to no index, you did not want these image attachment pages to be indexed, then now it may have accidentally switched it to, hey, yes, it's okay, which, you know, it's not redirecting anymore. These are indexable. So there was like a switch that happened here in this bug. And now this only happened between version, I think 7.0 and 7. Somewhere in here, 7.0.2, specifically those versions. So some people are saying this is a more widespread problem, but it seems that it was only in these versions. Now, I will say if you updated to 7.0.2 and it caused the problem then, but now you're on version 7.3 or 7.6 or whatever is out right now, it doesn't mean that your update from this version will automatically have fixed the problem. So if you updated between version 7.0 and 7.0.2, the problem is probably still going to be there for you, even if you've updated since then. That's important to know. The impact of the bug, see, this is one of those things where it's kind of like Google says it probably shouldn't have that much of an effect on you, but people have been running tests, and I've even seen some results that make me believe that it probably does have an effect, especially on sites like photography sites that have so many images. I'll show you an example in a little bit so that you can understand why this might have an effect. So they have released a plugin. I'm going to show you this plugin and what to do with it to fix the issue as much as possible. This is one of those issues where if it has affected your site, there is no instant fix that just reverses any damage. It could be that your site has problems for a few months after this kind of a bug. But there are steps to take, and they've released, you know, their best advice on what to do next and a tool to help you take those steps easily. All right, so I just want to show you that's what's going on here. Let's go into WordPress and actually see what is causing this problem. Why is this actually a problem? It's important for you to actually understand this. Whenever you upload an image to WordPress, so I'm in the media library right now to see all of the images. Whenever you upload this image, a page is created, not just an image in the gallery, not just this image appears on a page. If you insert it into a blog post, if you upload it directly to the media library, there's an attachment page created for this image. Let's go ahead and view that attachment page. You can see when I open that image in the media library, I've got this little link right here, view attachment page. Now, this attachment page, it shows the file name, which becomes the title of this photo of this attachment page. It shows the attachment, and then it's in a post format that's just kind of standard for my website. The thing is, this page can be optimized for every single photo on your site, and there may be some sites that use this functionality, that they actually utilize the features and the ability to optimize an attachment page for every single photo. It's very unlikely that most photography sites are going to be doing this unless you are potentially some sort of stock photography website, or you are just very intentional about uploading specific images that you want to rank individually as images. So what you could do is, if I go into edit more details, this lets me edit the attachment page. And so I can actually change the title. So title of attachment page. I can change the URL if I wanted. I can, so then this could be like image attachment page example. Just showing you this as an example. We could put a caption for this image. We could add alt text for this image. We could put a description for this image. We could even use the Yoast meta box, and we could change this to be test title just for SEO. And we could add a meta description. Meta description for this attachment page. Can't spell. All right, so all of this can be done so that we're optimizing specifically. So if I update this and I go back over here to this image attachment page and refresh, notice now that I have this title showing here. Sorry, it's loading. It's a glitch there. Title of attachment page, a description for this image. If I check that I have the alt text for this image that I added there, the title up here, if we look at Open SEO stats, for example, we could see the title and meta description for this image attachment page. So this page, you could add 1,000 words describing this image and a really good title, and you could create a post type archive or a post type template that would display this perfectly, and there are ways that you could use this. So I wanted to explain this because you need to understand that this is the capability and the reason that WordPress has this functionality. Some people may want to use it. However, most people do not. And if you don't know about this, and if you haven't been doing it like this, and you probably shouldn't, but if you didn't do that, then you have all of these random attachment pages that are essentially low quality pages on Google, to Google. So they are potentially being indexed. So if you don't no index these, or you don't redirect these, they can be indexed by Google. So let's go over here and back into my media library, and you just show you one more example so you see what I'm saying. If I look at this attachment page, if this shows up in Google where 0003 is the title of the page, you know, there's no meta description, there's no content on the page except for a single image. If there are 10,000 pages like this on my site because I have 10,000 images, and Google indexes those, it's going to say, hey, these are low quality pages. No one would ever want to come to this page because it's just a single image. If someone wanted to see the image, they would go to the page that had the image, or we would just want to show that image in image results. So all of these pages on your site are just junk, and we don't want to index all of this junk. And so essentially the problem comes whenever all of these attachment pages are allowed to be indexed, and Google indexes them and sees that your site is 90% junk, and that's a problem. And so essentially, I had the thing open here, there's a feature inside of Yoast where it used to be that you could just redirect these to the parent post. So if you were to put this on the home page and you set this feature to yes, then it would redirect this attachment page to the home page, and you just wouldn't ever be able to access this. Google couldn't index it because it's being redirected. You could also redirect the unattached images to the image itself. Well, in Yoast 7, they've made it so that you can only redirect the images to the image themselves. Okay, so that's fine, but the problem is that by default, whenever you upgraded to version 7.0 or 7.001 or 02 or whatever those versions were, this setting, so in SEO, this is Yoast, search appearance, media, this redirect attachment URLs to the attachment itself got set to no by default. And it should be set to yes if it were set to yes before. And for 99% of photographers who do regular client work, portrait photographers, wedding photographers, this should be set to yes. Okay. If you set it to yes and we save the changes and we go back and look at this attachment page as an example, we'll just hit refresh on this. It's going to redirect it to the image itself. So you're not no indexing the image, you're just redirecting the attachment page. Okay. So effectively, Google is not going to index this because it's being redirected to the image itself, but Google will still index the image. And that's good behavior. That's a good option for SEO. So just by switching that setting, you have pretty much resolved the problem going forward, but there's still some things that you may need to clean up. So here's how you tell if you need to clean up these problems. If you go into Search Console, now I open Search Console here. I have all 4 properties. I'm going to the HTTPS www version because that's what I have for my domain. That's my canonical version. We're going to open this up, and you're going to see that right here sometime in March, this is when this update happened, by the way. This is when I updated. There was a significant increase. So I'm in Search Console, Google Index, Index Status, and these are the number of pages that are indexed by Google. Notice how I was holding steady here at 280 something, 270, 280, 280, dropped down to 226. This number is probably fine. If you're wondering how many should you have, I usually tell people that a good rule of thumb is that you should count the number of pages and posts on your site. So you can go to your site, if you're using Yoast and using their sitemap, just go to sitemap_index.xml. You could pull up the pages and posts sitemap, and it'll give you a count. So 115 posts, 11 pages. So let's just call it 125. Double that number, so 250 for me. And if that's in the ballpark of how many pages you have indexed, that's probably pretty safe and healthy. Okay, if it's way off of that number, so mine at 285, it's close. It's in the ballpark of 250. I'm okay with that. But if it's like 500, 600, 1,000, it's probably off, and you probably need to look into why. Now, there are cases where you might have some custom post types, other things that you're indexing, and you have to understand that and know that it might be okay for you to have more. But in general, this is a rule of thumb. Double the number of pages and posts is probably pretty healthy. So notice how, with that update, all of these things started getting indexed, and now I have 500, 600 things indexed. And if I go and look at Search Console in Search Analytics, and I look at my traffic, notice that sometime around the same time, about a week later or so, you do start to see a decline in clicks, decline in impressions. Now, I can't say for sure that this is directly related, but whenever you see something that's that strong of a correlation, whenever you see a significant increase in number of pages indexed and a pretty decent downward trend in clicks and impressions, you know that there's a good chance that they are related. Okay, so in this case, this probably did hurt my ranking over this time. I can't say for sure because I haven't dug in far enough to know, but I can say that it probably did. So what I'm going to do to try to clean this up after I've already, fixed the problem is I'm going to go and I'm going to install the plugin that Yoast is providing. There's this plugin right here, Search Index Purge, and you can install it within WordPress, and it gives you the instructions here. I'm just going to copy this little phrase. I'm going to go back in here, go to plugins and add new. And I'm not going to upload. I'm going to search here. And I get that plugin right there. I'm going to install it. And then we're going to activate it. And we're just going to go and double check to make sure that it's working by going back to SEO, search appearance, media. Let's just see. Please upgrade. Oh, I've got to upgrade to the latest version. I'm sorry, guys. Let's go ahead and go back over to plugins. I got a lot of stuff out of date here. We're going to update now. And we're going to come back here and refresh. And go to media. And now it says these settings are being overridden by the Search Index Purge plugin. You're actively purging attachment URLs out of Google Search Index. You can read more about it here. If you go to, let's see here. Let's go to tools. I can't remember where to go to the sitemap settings in here. We'll go back over to our actual sitemap and refresh. And we should have this attachment sitemap now that's updated. And what it'll do is, let's just actually hit one of these. We're going to copy it, and we're going to go over to redirect checker. We're going to see what happens and see if it does what it's supposed to here. It's supposed to be adding a 410. There it is, 410 status to this page. And what that does is it just tells Google, this is not a 404. It's not like it's just missing. This is gone. We intentionally deleted this. And it includes this sitemap of all of these URLs so that Google will crawl these very specifically, and then it will see that they are gone, and it will take them out of the index. Okay, with that 410 status, you're telling Google, hey, don't tell me I've got 404 errors. Don't try to fix this. Don't come back and check later. Just erase this. And so it's the best thing that Yoast can do is to include the sitemap with the 410 status. And that's done automatically. You don't need to change any settings after you install this plugin. But then you can go back over to Search Console. You can go to crawl, fetches Google. Just leave your home page in here. Hit fetch, and then request indexing, crawl all the direct links, go, and go over to your sitemaps. And if you don't have any sitemaps, you definitely want to add, you can add the sitemap index.xml, underscore index, sorry. Submit that, refresh. It's going to be processing, but this will process this, and it will process all of those sub-site maps. It will crawl those, and it should remove those attachments, those attachment pages from the index. And that's all you can do at this point. And then you just need to keep an eye on your traffic. You need to keep an eye on the number of pages indexed. Go in here, Google index status, and you should start to see within a few weeks, you should see this go back down. And Yoast is saying that after 6 months, you should have all of this completely resolved, and you can just remove that extra plugin. It's probably not gonna hurt anything to just leave it there either. But it's just one of those things where it's going to take some time for Google to knock these things back out of the index. But hopefully, if you take these steps, it should get this done quickly, and you won't have to worry about it anymore. Hopefully, for most of you, even if this did affect your site, you won't have any problems with ranking. It's not something that guarantees a problem in ranking. In fact, I saw this as a problem on someone else's site earlier, and they saw a increase in clicks and impressions over the time since they've been having this problem. So it's not always going to be something that just kills your rankings. You should not just uninstall Yoast. I've seen some people saying they're just going to uninstall the whole thing. Don't do that unless you really know what you're doing and you're replacing it with something else, and you've got all your titles and metas saved, and you've got all the settings saved, and you can import them into some other plugin. Definitely don't just remove Yoast and think, oh, my problem's solved now. You'll actually create way more problems for yourself doing that. If you feel just overwhelmed by all of this and you need someone to help you with it, I do have some services where we could help you with that. Go to fuelyourphotos.com and click on services. And this main package that we currently have available, our Phoenix package, we do a full audit of your site. We do some other things as well, plenty of other things. And then we, in this 60-minute session, we could absolutely fix that. In fact, if you sign up for this because you need help with the Yoast situation, I can fix that for you immediately right upon sign up. And then we'll still do all the other things here as well. Just letting you know that there is an option out there. And this is not just their price to fix the Yoast cleanup. This is a full package of other things. So definitely check this out, and you can click learn more. And there's a video here that talks to you about what's included and what it all means. But just know that if you were to purchase that, we would help you with this kind of SEO problem if it's something that's affected your site. So if you see that your rank has been tanking since you updated this and you want more help and you want to make sure that it gets fixed, this might be a really good option for you. So I just want to throw that out there as an option for people. But you should be able to follow the instructions in the video that I've made here, the instructions that Yoast has given, and hopefully this should all be resolved pretty easily. All right, talk to you later.